Okay, did a little more work at this facility. Gonna quick do an overview. This is looking at the traffic flow and some measurements on the primary build. Lane coming in, going around, dumping right here. There are your two dump pits. Two 10-foot by 4-foot dump pits, one for each hopper. Side draws on the bins. Center of dump pit to bin sidewall, 11 foot 8 inches, 67.5 foot from where that conveyor dumps into the bottom conveyor. We'll just look at it here. 67 foot from where that conveyor dumps into the bottom conveyor. There your layout is. So 20 foot bin sidewall to bin sidewall, 92 foot center to center, 12 foot 4 inches from the center of this support tower to the bin sidewall. So if you draw a line straight across, center of the tower, 12.5 foot in. Elevators off to the side in a 10-foot square tower. That way if you want to add a dry elevator here in the future, we'll look at some of that. Right here you have 400,000 bushel of storage, two 72-foot 15 ring bins. That's what you got. Come through here. Now I did not complete this. If it's up to me, I'm going to say we throw a little, we have two options. You can, or a couple options. You can take these unloads, bring them out to the front and load out with a transport auger. Or you can bring them and dump them back into this conveyor so they go back to the elevator. And then at that point, you throw a little support tower here, a little 2x2 support tower, bring a spout off the elevator out here to load the truck. Or you throw a load out bin here and you reclaim them, dump them into a load out bin, dump that in. I can draw that in if you want. That makes it really nice 3,000-4,000 bushel load out bin over the load out. That way you can have a couple truckloads in there, and it's real easy to put a full switch in the load out bin to shut your bin unloads down when it gets full. So there, got that. With that, figuring for the future, we have two options. If we go with a third 72-foot bin in the future, with this layout, that 72-foot bin can only be 9 rings tall. I think so. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. To hit it with a spout. Then you throw like a 50, or actually this bin here is a 42-foot bin, and it's drawn at 2, 4, 6. So 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 rings tall. 12 rings tall on a 42-footer gives us 55,000 bushel. So 55,000 bushel wet bin there that shows. We could go a 48-footer, get a little more bushel of wet storage if we wanted. Just kind of depends how much bushels you're going to run through and how dry and so on. So that's what we got for a 72. I think once you go to expand, you're going to want to go with a 60-footer. It's a little better configuration. At the same time, it's not real tall. When you start getting a distance away from the elevator, you start losing height pretty fast on what you can do. So that's what we can do with that elevator. Now if you end up with wanting to have 1,000,000 bushel of storage here one day, then we would have to take this, copy it, bring a row down through here, and we could have this storage bin here that holds 100,000 bushel, 110,000, 50 or 80,000 bushel wet bin, dryer in here. I figured plenty of room in here to drive in. That way you can get in here with a loader or something if you need to access anything. I brought these bins close together, but I kept a pretty big gap in the middle so you can get in on both sides of the dryer with a man lift or tractor or whatever's needed. I hate to box stuff in the middle without access. But if you were looking at, saying 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, if it would grow, it would be very easy to take one of these bins, go over here, convey across the top, or do the same over here. Usually just one direction is more efficient, and we can go out that way or both. So there's a lot of expansion possible, and right with this design you have 500,000 bushel of storage all spouted off a 126 foot elevator. I think it's 126 foot. Let's count it up just to be sure. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120 plus 6 foot more, something like that. I'd have to measure that exactly for build, but which maybe I'll do that now just to make sure I'm giving good information. This is 120 foot. No, that's not accurate. Here. 128 foot on that. That's if your distributor is 5 foot tall. So it's 123 foot off the bottom of the distributor to be able to hit those bins. And that's 500 bushel storage all spouted off the elevator. And it could be 600,000 bushel, like you could just say, okay, we're throwing another big storage bin here, but I figured a dryer and a wet bin in here. So, which could be, we could do something with there's some alterations on that, but that's just a simple least amount of piece of equipment system. We would have to add one elevator to this tower to run that drying system then. So that's what I came up with, and I threw the measurements on the basic one here. If you want PDF layouts or anything of the sort, like for measurements, let me know and I can do that. Until then, I will stop here.